Okay, we're just going to do a quick mic check to make sure that everything is working. If you guys can hear me, please let me know in the chat. Awesome, we have good audio quality. Oh no, you guys are cheating. Okay, so today, as we do every Tuesday this month, we are going to be doing vocabulary to make sure that you guys are ready for the test when you guys go take it. Hello everybody and welcome. Just a reminder for anyone who's watching, please make sure that you like the video, and also, since this is a live class, make sure you guys are watching it live and not the playback, and make sure that you guys say hello when you guys join so that I know I'm not alone. It can be very lonely on these live streams. So for anyone who is joining us, thank you so much for stopping by. Just a quick reminder again that the 4 steps to improve your speaking is to do these 4 steps where you answer IELTS questions just naturally, as fluently as you can. Then you listen to the recording and you write down mistakes, not everything, just your mistakes. I generally recommend that you focus on one type of mistake that you know you make. Maybe you always forget past tense, maybe you have trouble with plurals. Write down those mistakes, and then step 3 is to record yourself again answering the same questions, but trying not to make those mistakes. Finally, if you have a native speaker who can help you out, like me and Phil, write down everything or send the recording to me, Phil, or your friend who is a native English speaker. We can point out grammar mistakes that you don't know you're making, and then we can also give you higher level vocabulary. All right, guys. So I see that there are 5 people here already. Welcome. Hello, everybody. So happy to see you guys. Say hi in the chat if you're not feeling too shy. One last thing, really the best thing that you can do for your vocab is just to read a lot. Don't only read IELTS things. You should be reading, when you're reading on your own, you should read below your level. When you're in a class, then you can read at a higher level because the teacher can help you. But read every day for 20 minutes if you can. All right, so let's get started. Hello, guys. Let's get started with a broad range of vocabulary. You guys might have noticed from the beginning, I have some pictures. What? Michael's live streams are becoming better. But before we get to them, I want to see what you guys already know. So can you guys tell me, what are some types of buildings that you know? And of course, this is just the beginning. We are eventually going to get to the point where we describe aspects of buildings, and then also describe facilities or amenities that a building or complex may have. But let's get started with the basic stuff that I know everyone will be able to answer, which is just types of buildings. Let me just give one example that everyone probably knows: a house. Another one would be a school. Can you guys let me know, what are some more types of buildings? And don't be shy, this class is so much better when people are interacting in chat. So I hope that you guys warm up your fingers and tell me some types of buildings that you know. We may also have a category of famous buildings. So these are buildings that everyone would know. So for example, I live in Taiwan, so the famous building would be Taipei 101. All right, guys, come on, you can do it. What are some more types of buildings that you guys know? All right. And by the way, if you don't want to do this easy one, you could also tell me any vocab that would go under any of these sections. So I'm gonna go grab some water while you guys type this out. Again, feel free to type in chat. Let me actually refresh chat to make sure that you guys, that it's not my end. Okay. Ah, there are people here. I am not alone. Thank you guys. I have refreshed the chat so I know that people are here. Hello Rashitha, hello Bye. So happy to see you guys. So can you guys help me out? Can you guys give me some more types of buildings that you guys may have to describe or that just exist? I see Rashitha and Bye, some of my favorite viewers. What are what's some vocabulary that you guys know? Alright, because people seem to be warming up, I will just knock out a few more things here. We can have apartment buildings. Or apartment complexes. And again, we aren't going to spend too long here. I'm thinking only another 15 minutes at the most going over basic vocabulary. And also some higher level sentences. And then we'll get down to the speaking part 1 and speaking part 3 that I know you guys love the most. But making sure that we have a strong base of vocabulary is equally important. So we have apartment buildings, apartment complexes. This is one that you guys may not know. Condos. These are basically apartment buildings that you can buy. Generally, when you're talking about where you live, if you live in an apartment, usually that means that you're renting. If you have a condo, that means that you bought that unit. Okay, we have a Sagria skyscrapers. That's nice. And let me do Bye's Sagrada Familia. I actually don't know what this building is, so I'm going to check it out. Oh wow, this is a gorgeous building. Holy crap. Yeah, this would definitely go under famous buildings. Okay. By the way, while we have this picture right here, one thing that's important, hello Van Tran, welcome. One thing that's important is being able to describe what you see. So I'm pretty sure because of the Spanish name that this is a cathedral. So if I was going to describe this building, I would say, which is a massive cathedral that is still under construction. It has gorgeous stained glass windows and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4 towering pirouettes. I think that's the word. By the way, this is an example of vocabulary that may not be known. Let me make sure I got this right. Nope, this is a type of dance. Okay. But that's why we're here. We're here to learn beautiful ways to describe buildings. So 4 towers. Okay. That tower over the entrance. All right, guys. So I hope villas, cottages, manor houses, you guys are on fire with these. And so villas, cottages, and manor houses. Okay. So if you use any of these words, the examiner will 100% know what you're talking about. Stained glass. If we look at the picture of the Sagrada Familia, which I believe is probably a building in Spain. Oh, it's in Barcelona. So yeah, in Spain. Stained glass windows are a special kind of glass that you use to make different colors. So if we look at this picture right here, you can see how the glass is blue and the glass is blue and green over here. Let's see if I can zoom in anymore. So Again, I hope you guys can see this clearly. The windows are colored, so that's stained glass. You usually see it in churches and in cathedrals. Okay, nice. I'm also going to look up manor houses. Oh, and there's one more that I'll put up here, a bungalow. Okay. Yes. So manor houses, I'm going to put another one, a mansion. Does anyone want to live in a mansion? And yeah, I would say hospitals are definitely a type of building. Hospitals, schools, office buildings, recreation centers. So rec centers, which means recreation centers. Whoa. What are some more buildings that are in your neighborhoods? A mall. See, now we're getting into, oh, I didn't even think of that as a building. So in case you need to describe a building that you know in your neighborhood or that's famous, you don't only have to talk about certain buildings. There's all different kinds of things you can think about. Castles, yes. Honestly, I love castles. When I was young, when I was like 10 or 11, I had a dream that I would build a castle when I got older and my whole family would live in the castle. Yes, I was a cute kid. I know it. Okay. A shelter. Yes, but I'm going to put in... You wouldn't just say shelter, because we usually collocate it with some other words. So just as a couple examples, we have a homeless shelter, which is a place where homeless people can stay. We have a bomb shelter, which is a place where you can hide if bombs are falling on your town. So shelter would really only be used with these two situations, and maybe any others that we may come up with. Yes. Let's see, Armand says Mahal. I think that's a famous place. Let me look it up. Mahal. Nope, that's a person. Mahal building. Yep, the Taj Mahal. There we go. So I will definitely put that over here as a famous building. I'm sorry for that picture of that person. That I was equally surprised. So yeah, the Taj Mahal. Yes. Oh, an animal shelter. Yes, that would be another kind of shelter. So an animal shelter is a place where strays are held. Okay. So a fort, yeah. The difference between a fort and a castle. A castle is a building from the medieval era where a lord lived. Okay, a fort is a military building only. So a castle was both a place for people to live, it was a residence, and a military building. So a residence and a military building. A fort is only a military building. Okay, you guys are on fire with this. Yeah, that's fantastic. So we have all of these great types of buildings that you guys have mentioned. Yeah, and if you can think of ones that are near your area or famous ones that may help you in your preparation. And remember, guys, make sure you guys learn the collocations that go with them. So the castle was under siege. Under siege. Siege. Sorry, I just heard my pronunciation. That was terrible. Yeah. Okay. But down here we have some famous buildings. What I did right here was I had a little sentence that described the Sagrada Familia. Um, but if you guys want to say Taipei 101 or the Taj Mahal, if you guys want to have your own little paragraph that describes the famous building, or if there's another famous building you want to add here, we can definitely do that. By the way, let's see. For Van Tran, under siege, if a castle is under siege, that means people are attacking the castle for a long time. So the castle was under siege for many months before another army came and chased the enemy army away. Under siege means you attack someone for a long time. A warehouse was another one. Pagoda is nice. Palace. And Bai is using some paraphrasing. How about the place that is built on the highway where you can take a rest or get some food? That is a great one. That's going to be the last one that I add here. And that is called a rest stop. A rest stop. A place to rest that is found along a major highway. Oh, we also have a nature center, a place to learn about nature. It is usually found on park grounds. And so a rest stop is usually a place for everyone. There's another one that's called a truck stop. A place for truckers to rest and refuel. Okay, yeah, these are great. And since I already went over, I'll also add warehouse. But yeah. Okay, yeah, these are great. Let's keep going though. We have some famous buildings. Like I said, if you want to add a famous building or add a description, I can throw it up here and fix it for you. But even though you guys know a lot of buildings, I think people usually have trouble when they have to describe an aspect of the building. So if we take a house, for example, let's have a house and let's have an apartment. Because this is where most people live. Most people live in a house or an apartment. And in the UK, they call it a flat. So be prepared for either one. Your examiner may be American or they may be British English. So they may say apartment, they may say flat. So if we were going to describe the... Oh man, you guys, there are so many more. Jeez. And the Red Fort is definitely a famous place. I only know the Red Fort because I play a game called Civilization, and the Red Fort is a special building. Yes. So, yep, we have a prison. Let's not make that bold. Okay. No one wants a prison built in their backyard. By the way, this is a useful phrase that I want you guys to learn. The movement is not in my backyard. NIMBY. NIMBY means not in my backyard. This is for like power plants, nuclear power plants, prisons, highways. A lot of people don't want certain things built in their neighborhood or near their homes. And so they say they don't want it built in their backyard. No one wants a prison built in their backyard. This is a really useful sentence frame. For example, if you're talking about part 3, this would be really good. And of course you can change prison. No one wants a power plant built in their backyard. No one wants a new highway built in their backyard. It doesn't mean literally in their backyard. It means like in their neighborhood or in their area. Yes. We have a sports center. Bus stop. And then temple, mosque, or church, depending on your religion. Yeah, these are perfect. Yes. Okay. gonna stay away from things like parliament, just because that's like it's certain. So the parliamentary building. Okay. So I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because sometimes when you guys are talking about a building, you want to say the parliamentary building because you're talking about that building. You're not talking about the part of the government. Yeah. Okay, nice. You guys were on fire. Let's go down to describing aspects. If we have a house and a flat, how would you describe these? So I live in a detached house. We have a 2-car garage. And it is a 2-story building with a 2-car garage. It is a colonial. It is a split foyer that was built in the 70s. With 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Okay, so this may be a little bit foreign to you, but this is generally the language we use when we're describing one building. If you're talking about your house and you live in a house, you could also say it is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. So this is describing the size usually. It is 100 square feet. And this is the language we use to describe houses, which is why you guys are here. So I want you guys warm up your fingers and tell me, in houses and flats and apartments, what language do we use to describe it? Yeah, I'm going to give you guys a minute, and I'm going to go grab some water while you guys are doing that. But again, please tell me, describe aspects of a building. Use the sentence frames to describe it. If you guys know any other words that you want to use, you can say those as well, and we'll put them together. All right, Arman, I'm so happy you said that. I am so happy you said that, Arman, because what you just said is one of the most common problems that I hear. And so let's make sure that no one makes this mistake by themselves. So my apartment, so when you said it, that's fine. My apartment is on the 2nd floor. This is really important. It's on the 2nd floor. If you're saying where it is, so it's on the 1st floor, on the 2nd floor, on the 5th floor, okay? Many students, you didn't make this mistake, but many students make this mistake where they say, I have a 2-floor, or they say, because normally they live pretty high up, so they say, I have a 5-floor apartment. Now, this has a meaning, but it doesn't mean what they think. Okay? If I was giving you an English test and you said, I have a 5-floor apartment, I will say, do you want an English teacher? Because you are rich. You have an apartment that is 5 floors. That means maybe your apartment is on floor 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All of those floors are owned by you. So let me show you guys a couple of these different sentences so that you aren't confused. My apartment is on the 5th floor. You can also say, I have a 5th floor apartment. This is why a lot of students get confused, but there is a huge difference between 5th floor and a 5-floor apartment. Let me give one more example. I have a 2-story apartment that takes up the 4th and fifth floors. Okay. And Rashitha says, I am living in a condominium building. That is perfectly fine. To be more colloquial, when we're just talking normally, we would probably say, I am living in a condo. And by the way, normally when you say this, the difference between an apartment and a condo is something that you buy. An apartment can be something that you buy, but normally if you say you're living in an apartment, it means that you're renting. So I own an apartment is fine. I own a condo. You always own a condo. So if it's your condo, then you would say, I am living in a condo. Yes. Okay, these are great. Can you guys come up with any more? Again, I'm looking for things that I can point out to make sure you guys don't make common mistakes. If you're describing your house, you're probably also going to describe the layout of your house. Can anyone describe the layout of their houses? I promise that I won't stalk you and find out where you live. Can you guys describe the layout? Like if I say, tell me about your home, you can tell me how big it is, how many square feet. You can tell me how big it is by saying how many bedrooms and baths. But you can also tell me by just saying what the inside looks like. Just to give you an example, I'll do this for my apartment so you guys can stalk me. My apartment isn't too big, but it's definitely bigger than my last one. It has a living room with a TV and a couch, a kitchen that is off to the side of it, and a bedroom and single bathroom. It also has 2 porches, which I loved when I started renting, but no longer use. They just get way too dirty, and I hate cleaning them. Okay. So, I hope that you guys find this useful, but let me see what you guys have said. Bai says, I don't like choppy place. I prefer flowing and open space. So flowing and open is perfectly fine. Choppy is a little strange. I wouldn't use that to describe a building or an apartment. So if you want to describe the building, you could say it's quite cramped. What this means is there isn't a lot of room. Okay? It has good feng shui. This is a particular style of interior decorating or architecture. Okay, so a lot of people, they say, oh, I want a building with good feng shui. Yes. Okay. There are a lot of high-rise flats around my house. That is something else that you can talk about. You can talk about the area where you live. So there are a lot of high-rise flats around my house. Perfect. And you can use this to describe anything. You can change my house for anything. You could say this building. And again, this is why sentence frames are so great, is once you know you can change this word, you can use it in a lot of different situations. So maybe you have to describe a building. You use it with this building. Okay. This is great, guys. We are going to keep moving, though, just because I want to keep the tempo going and I want to get to the questions sooner rather than later. So one last thing I want to do is amenities that your house or apartment complex may have. So my apartment complex has a KTV room or a karaoke room, a swimming pool, and a small gym. Unfortunately, all the exercise equipment is broken. Oh no, I have an excuse not to exercise. Oh darn. If only I could exercise. Huh. Okay, so let me see. Bai has one. I live in a 2-bedroom flat on the 4th floor of a 5-story building in the outskirts of Taipei City. That is a beautiful sentence, Bai. I'm just going to copy and paste that directly. I think it's on the outskirts. With outskirts, we would say on the outskirts. But if you guys are looking for a sentence frame to steal, you should steal this one. Bai, thank you so much for this. And it's on the outskirts. Yeah, if you guys learned this sentence, and then you guys just learned to change these words, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, on the 4th floor of a 5-story apartment building, and then on the outskirts of, and then you can say the name of your city. You could also say in the city center. If you're fancy and rich, you can say, oh, I live right in the city center. You could live in a 1-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah. By the way, another way to say a 1-bedroom apartment is a studio apartment. I don't think you would call it a studio flat. So let me put that over here. In a studio apartment. And this means 1 bedroom. Okay. So again, I want to make it clear that this is either or. Yeah, steal this sentence, guys. This is a beautiful sentence. Seriously, this is the best. Okay. Bye, you caught me. No, it's a perfectly legitimate excuse not to do exercise, I promise. Okay, so just to give you guys a hint, by the way, my apartment does not have any of these things. I do not live in a managed building, so that's another good thing. I live in a managed apartment building. I don't need to worry about trash or utilities, and there is always a security guard at the front desk who collects my Uber deliveries and brings them up to my door. Oh man, this makes me so jealous. I wish this was true for me. So I live in a managed apartment building. Okay. I don't need to worry about. This is a good sentence frame if you want to talk about things that you don't need to worry about in your house. I don't need to worry about A or B or C. Yeah. And of course, we have some nice grammar right here as well. All right, guys. So let's keep going. I know you guys are getting sick of vocab and you want to get to the speaking. Just to make sure that you guys know what these are, this is a detached house. What that means is that this is a house with a yard that is not attached to anything. So we call this a detached house. But normally, if you just say house, people know what you're talking about. You don't always need to say detached house. The only time you would really say detached house is if you were comparing it to something that wasn't. This is an apartment building or an apartment complex. Or apartment complex. Okay. Anyone know what this one is? They're not so common outside of America. What am I talking about? They're common all over Europe. Anyone know what this one is? I believe in you guys. You guys can do it. So I'll let you guys try to do this one and this one. These are the two hardest. I think you guys could probably figure out what this is, But I bet you guys you can't figure out what this one is. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to make it a little bit clearer to see. So this is A, and this is B. Can you guys guess what they are? Ooh, Rashitha, that's a really good sentence. I'm going to put that up here. Okay. Okay. So, let me put Rashitha's sentence here. So, the government, important to make sure you remember that, the government is pulling down older neighborhoods to make way for the new skyscrapers. So I would get rid of the, and then this is, I'm glad that you said this, is pulling down is great, but it doesn't collocate with neighborhoods. So I'm going to change this. The government is pulling down older buildings to make way for newer skyscrapers. We could also say the government is tearing down or demolishing older neighborhoods to make way for new skyscrapers. So Rashitha, I hope you find this useful. I hope everyone finds this useful. Hello Naz, welcome, long time no see. Ooh, and it looks like Bai made the guess. So again, I want to point out, is pulling down older buildings. You pull down a building, you pull down something. You don't pull down a neighborhood. Yeah, nice. But tearing down or demolishing neighborhoods is okay. I mean, it isn't okay. You shouldn't do it. That shouldn't be your pastime. But yes, these are the collocations you should use. All right. It looks like Bai guessed that these are townhouses. Hello, Raghav. Welcome. Happy to see you. And these are, in fact, townhouses or terraced houses. Now, I'm not going to lie. As an American, I never used the word terraced houses before. So, yeah, it looks like it's exactly the same meaning as a townhouse. Okay. Now you know. I've taught terraced houses so many times, but I was always like, I guess I know what it is. I thought it was something special. The reason why I was always confused is because this is what a terrace is. Like these are terraces. So I always, in my mind, I always thought of terraced houses as being like this, where they're built like rice paddies, which is ridiculous. I know. Okay, this last one is the hardest one. I believe that they exist in most countries, but in America, they are particularly well known, and a lot of people know about them. And can we put down buildings? No. And the reason is, and you're going to find this funny, Bai, if you put something down, well, I guess it's actually kind of dark, but put down means kill. Gently. Okay, just to give you an example, we had to put down my cat after she got cancer. Okay, so I'm sorry. It was just the sentence that you gave was really funny because I was thinking of putting down a building, and someone with a gun went up to the building and was like, "Pow!" and the building died. Yes. So pull down a building is best. So one more chance, maybe another 20 seconds to try to guess what this is. This is, let me look up what a duplex is, because I've heard about it. A duplex. Oh, a duplex is like a townhouse that is only connected to one other house. So it's two houses right next to each other. So duplexes, I've never seen one. I've never lived in one, but my girlfriend did. So yeah, I think they look kind of funky, but maybe they exist in your city. Okay, so this one is a gated community. And it's mostly for wealthier families who want to be separated from the outside community. They usually have a lot of amenities. Have a ton of amenities, like private swimming pools, tennis courts, etc. This is kind of like our equivalent of a luxury apartment suite. So like here in Taiwan, at least in Taipei, it's really built up. So you will see really fancy apartment buildings. In America, we just have so much space that most people have big houses, and then if they want to be separate from everyone else, they'll move into a gated community. Yeah. Okay, guys. So that's that. Let's move on down. Sentence frames for buildings and places you go. Make sure when you're talking about your house, I just want to point out a few tips and tricks. A lot of questions ask you to compare things. Make sure you use comparatives and superlatives. Just as an example, houses are better than apartments because you have so much more space and you aren't cramped, and you aren't and you have a lot more privacy. Okay, I don't know what I just deleted, but here we go. Another thing is make sure you can tell if you need to talk about your house or your neighborhood. So make sure you're listening very carefully to the examiner when you're talking, because oftentimes they will open up by saying, let's talk about where you live. And this could be your house or it could be your neighborhood. So make sure that you know which one you need to talk about. It can be a little bit embarrassing if you start talking about the wrong one. Okay? Yeah. This is good. So make sure you use comparatives and superlatives when you can, and make sure you know which one you're talking about. But it's time to go down to the part that you guys are all waiting for, the reason you guys are here, and that is buildings for speaking part 1. I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to give me as many questions as you can that you may see in speaking part 1. These could be talking about your home and your neighborhood. This could be talking about this could be talking about buildings or architecture. Yeah. Or places. Like, for example, if you have to describe like a zoo or something like that, being able to use this vocabulary when you're talking about different topics will improve your vocab score. That's why you guys are here, right? Is to work on your vocab score. So give me some questions here. What is your favorite room in your house? Nice. Always a favorite. So I'm just going to copy and paste these, and then after we have maybe 10, we'll start answering them. And you guys can give me some of your answers, and then I, of course, will fix them and give you some higher level ones as well. Remember, guys, this entire document is able to be seen right down here. Just click this link, And you guys can see today's document and scroll all the way down to look at the vocab if you want to steal anything. And finally down here to practice the questions if you want. Okay. Oh man, you guys are on fire already shooting them off. What do you like or dislike about your neighborhood? Nice. Bye, you're on fire. By the way, I'm just going to have another section right here at the bottom where I put the sentences that you guys are saying and fix them if they need it. So Bye has a really good sentence, which is the building that I live in. So if you say the building where I live is just like most other buildings. If you didn't say where I live, if you said that, you would have to say that I live in. So the relative clause with that is that I live in, and the relative clause that you use with that where I live is where. Okay. So I want to highlight these just so that you guys can see the difference. Okay, but other than that, this is a beautiful sentence. The building where I live is just like most other buildings in my neighborhood, a gray concrete old building. I'm so sorry, Bye. It's the same for me. And Rashitha also has a great one. They should do up some of the facilities in our apartment. Yeah, this is a great way to start a conversation. And then after this, you should say what some of them are. But do up is a great word. That's why I'm going to highlight it and say fantastic vocab to put forward, Rashitha. Okay. Do you know anyone in your neighborhood? That is a good question. Let me put that up as well. What do you like and dislike about your neighborhood? Bye, you're just on fire with these. Okay, and do you know anyone in your neighborhood? I really hope some of you guys answer this one, because I bet you the answer is no. At least where I live, that's the case. Maybe you guys live in a more sociable area where the community is a bit tighter knit. Okay. Thank you, Rahila. Lawn dining room. Yeah, those are other places. And Naz is saying, please do speaking part 2. Okay. I have time today, so yeah, we can do speaking part 2. I think sometimes, looking at chat, some people are watching the live stream in the past, and so they're answering questions that I say, but it's coming up in the current chat. And I think it's just adorable. I love it. Okay. So Bye came up with all of these questions. I want you guys to try to answer one or two of them, or give some more questions. We have some great ones here. Let me think of any more that you may have to do. Because remember, it's not always about your neighborhood, it's also about your house. Do you like your house or apartment? How far away is your school or place or workplace from your house? What's your favorite room in your house? That's a good one. Already said. And Rashith is like, psh, I don't want to do part 1. Let's do part 3, please. Let's do a little bit of part 1 and then we'll move on. So if you guys can give me 1 or 2 answers to these questions or a few more questions, we'll move on to part 3 immediately, and then after that we'll go to part 2 for Naz. Okay. Okay, Bye. You've almost, I like the question, you almost got the grammar right, but you used the wrong grammar. Do you want to try to fix it before I fix it for you? And Rashitha, that is a good question. I'm going to put it in the part 3 section. Okay, but right now I really want to focus on part 1, just for another couple minutes. So again, if you guys want to put your own answers here. Now is the time. Okay, do you like to visit historic buildings? That is a really good question. Because this is the type of question, and the IELTS exam loves to do this. They love to have sentence or questions that they can easily change for a lot of different topics. We actually talked about this in an earlier video. Down here, what do you usually, what did you do last time, have you, would you? These are really common beginnings to questions that they use over and over again in the IELTS exam. What Rashitha just said for part 1 is fantastic because you can change this to so many other things. Do you like to visit art museums? Do you like to visit aquariums? Like, we can use so many different things here. And then, of course, many people are going to answer, yeah, I like to visit historic buildings. Yeah, I like to visit art museums. Yeah, I like to visit aquariums. And then maybe they talk about why they like it. But this is the perfect opportunity to show off your vocabulary for locations, for places. Let me show you what I mean. Yeah, I love to visit aquariums. We actually have a famous one right here in my city. And I visit it once a month. It's on the other side of town, about a 20-minute bus ride away. Luckily, there is a direct route. And then after this, after you say where it is, it's on the other side of town, and you say how far away it is, it's about a 20-minute bus ride away. You know, this is showing your vocab knowledge for talking about locations and spatial vocabulary, where things are in a given area. And then after that, you can then go into why you like it. I love watching the fish seem to fly over me in the underwater tunnel that they have. They also have some live shows where you can feed the dolphins and seals. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Rashitha, thanks so much for that. Let's see if there are some more things here that we should put up. I see a couple more questions that I'm going to throw up, and then after this we'll move to part 3. But again, I would love it if you guys answered some of these. If you guys are watching this in the past, if you guys are watching this in the future, I mean, I always really like it when I look at the analytics and I see how many people watched it now. And then some people watch the entire video like a day or 2 or 3 days later. It always makes my heart very happy that I'm making content that is useful for you guys. So if you guys want, feel free to answer these questions in the comments after the video is over. Maybe if you're too shy to put an answer, or you're a little bit shy about your grammar or your vocab, it's perfectly okay to leave it in comments, and I promise that I'll check it out. So yeah, bye. You are just on top of the ball with this. Jeez. And Naz, thank you so much for having an answer there. Let's take a look at Naz's answer, and then we're going to move to part 3, unless anyone else has some answers that they want to check out. So Naz is talking about her neighborhood. I really like my neighborhood because they are a part of my extended family. Be careful, Naz. There is a difference between neighborhood and neighbor. So I really like my neighbors because they are a part of my extended family. Most of them are really supportive, caring, friendly, and friendly by nature. So yeah, the vocab is great there. It's just neighbors versus neighborhood. And this is asking about the neighborhood. So you've got to be careful here. I love my neighborhood because it is filled with fantastic neighbors. Most of them are part of my extended family, and there is always someone to talk to or throwing a party that I can join. Okay, so again, this is to show neighborhood versus neighbors. Okay, Naz, thank you so much for putting this in. And this really should be ing. All right. Yeah. So I hope that this was clear for you, Naz. This one is a better, more direct answer because it is about the neighborhood. So let's move on down to part 3. Some people have already been throwing out some great part 3 questions. I'm going to put them up. If you guys would like to put some more, feel free. And if you guys want to answer someone, feel free. Also, if there's ever any questions that you want me to answer, now is the time. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. Like if you want to hear a higher level answer or steal some sentences, this is the time to do it. Okay. All right, these are great. By the way, by that last question that you asked about your dream house, that is definitely something that you would see in part 1, not part 3. So I will throw it up in part 1 because it is a good question. But right now we are switching over to part 3. And just before we go, I do want to fix the grammar problems that I mentioned before for by. Over here we should say, have there been any changes in your neighborhood? Or changes to your house in the past 10 years. Okay, and then down here, what does your dream house look like? And again, we say does because look like. Okay. And then similar, what would your dream house be? Okay. Nice. All right, and I see some more great questions. So let's go down to part 3 and make sure we throw them in here. Okay. Let me look at some of the this should be how have building styles changed from the past. This is a nice one. And then one more. And then I see some people are putting answers. So Rashitha, we'll start with you. Since you do have some answers already. Thank you so much for putting this in. And Munish also has one. Munish Ral. So we'll start with Rashitha, and then we'll do Munish. And while I'm going over these, I hope that you guys put your own answers to these questions. Let me change the font here to make it a little bit smaller and easier to see. Okay. And Rashitha first. Huh. Be a little bit careful. It costs a lot of money to preserve historic buildings, and there are many other important things that the government could do. I suppose it depends on where the money comes from. Okay. This is fine, just to make your answer a little bit stronger, like the cohesion, the logic of it. I do recommend that you answer it first, like directly first. Remember, English speakers are stupid. We need things very clearly spelled out and explained and connected, or we don't see it. So, I think it depends. Or you could say, not in all situations. Both of these would be perfectly fine to say first, because this directly answered the question, and then you're giving your supporting details after that. This is the reason why you have this belief, but you do need to directly answer it first. Other than that, the answer itself is really good. By the way, a follow-up question the examiner may ask here is, so what would be an appropriate amount of money to spend on these preservation projects? Or they may say, where should the money come from then? Yeah, where the money comes from, this is like, the English is perfect. The logic is also okay, but I'm curious to see what you would say, how you would explain that. And sorry, this should be acceptable. My mistake for talking while I'm typing. Yes. Okay, Rashitha, I hope you found this useful. Again, at the top, add that. And then these are probably the follow-up questions that you'd have to answer. So can you answer them? Do your best. Okay, let's see another person's answer. Like I said, I'm going to do Munish and then Raghav's. Yes, I think old monuments can save history of particular event. I see your idea. We're going to fix up the English and the grammar a little bit, Munish. Okay. Do you think it is good to preserve old buildings? Let's look at Munish's answer. Yes. Yes. Definitely. I think old monuments can save the history. I think old monuments preserve. So can save is okay. Like, it's not wrong, it just sounds a little bit strange. Preserve would be better here. I think old monuments preserve the history. Yeah, preserve the history of particular events. And I know that was just me copying wrong. So a follow-up, this is okay. A follow-up question might be, can you give me an example? So Munish, if you want, feel free to try to answer the follow-up question, and we can work on that too. Okay, let's look at Raghav. My neighborhood is not friendly. People are uncommunicative, resident, and lack camaraderie. Moreover, there is a feeling of hauntiness and hubris in their behavior and body language. Okay, Raghav, throwing some shade. Jeez, your poor neighbors. Is that what you tell me what you really think? Okay, so this is a part 1, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to come up and put this in. What do you like or dislike about your neighborhoods? Though I think yours is actually, do you know your neighbors? Which is, nope, it's what do you like or dislike. Okay, so my neighborhood is not friendly as people are uncommunicative. Okay, reticent, reticent. High-level word used correctly here, and lack camaraderie. Moreover, all right. I do want to point this out. Moreover is not wrong. It's used correctly here. This, moreover, connects this idea and this idea correctly. However, when you're speaking, when you're talking to someone, moreover is quite formal. And so it sounds a little bit strange to use moreover in this sentence. If you could think of a synonym that's more colloquial, if you can think of a synonym that's more natural in speaking, that would make this a little bit stronger. So again, moreover used correctly, which is good, but I would think of a more, a better one for speaking. This answer is perfectly fine. Just like I did with the previous one, though, it's fine on its own, but I do recommend that you answer it first. So I really don't. My neighborhood is not friendly. Okay, what do you dislike about your neighborhood? My neighborhood is not friendly. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit higher level. My neighborhood is not a friendly place, as people are uncommunicative, reticent, and lack camaraderie. Moreover, there is a feeling of haughtiness and hubris in their behavior and body language. It really makes living there unpleasant. To be honest, there isn't much that I like about living there. Okay. So like I said, the answer itself was fine, except for maybe coming up with a synonym for moreover. What I did here is not a friendly place, was just making this a little bit higher level, smooth, a little bit smoother. And then this kind of directly ties back to the answer of what do you like or dislike about your neighborhood. Okay, Raghav, good answer. By the way, if you guys ever want me to say your corrected answer out loud so that you can practice shadowing me or listening and saying with my voice, because everyone should sound like me, just let me know, and I will be more than happy to read it for you so you can go back and listen and say with me speaking at a natural speed. Okay, you guys are doing great here. Let's go next with innocent. Definitely. Of course, yes, it's extremely imperative to preserve old premises as it has brought a lot of information regarding the past. Okay. So I'm assuming that's for do you think it's good? So let me put this over for innocent. Good job directly answering the question. And then let's just fix this up a little bit, because the ending is, and I know some of this is just spelling, like because you're typing on a phone or something. Yes, of course, it is extremely, okay, extremely imperative is a problem, because imperative is already like the most. So you wouldn't say extremely imperative, you would just say imperative, because imperative means extremely important. Let me write this down here. Imperative equals extremely important. So if you say extremely imperative is equal to extremely imperative, important. This is an annoying thing in English where we sometimes have words like imperative where it means it already has the meaning of extremely important, and so you can't use that up there. So definitely, of course, it is imperative to preserve old premises. as it has brought a lot of information regarding the past. Okay, so what's happening right here is something that I want to point out for people who are studying. I know that you guys are trying really hard to use unique, high-level vocabulary. The thing is, make sure you know when it's appropriate to use that vocabulary. This is why I say reading is so important, because when you read and you see a new word again and again in lots of different situations, you become, you know when it's okay and when it's not okay to use these high-level words. Don't use high-level words just to use high-level words. Don't use high-level words. Don't think that a synonym can always be used at the same situation as the original word. So old premises, it's a little bit too specific. An old building could be a temple. An old building could be an office building. Premises doesn't really fit here. I know what you're trying to say. You're not wrong, but the word choice is wrong. Yeah. To preserve old premises. Yeah. As it has brought a lot of information regarding past times. And this last one we can just fix as well. Premises is a minor thing. The last one is a little bit bigger of a problem. Okay. It is imperative to preserve these old places as they are a fount of, okay, too high level, as they are important cultural relics. Okay. Just to give you some more ways that you can do this, as they can teach us a lot about the past. This is a little bit weaker, as they are necessary for us to preserve our history. Okay. Important cultural relics is honestly the best one, but if that's a little bit too high level for you, that's not what you would normally say. This is an exact copy of what you were trying to say up here. Okay. Information is one of those words where, like, in a lot of other languages, they use it very liberally in a lot of different situations, but information and knowledge, we only use it in specific situations in English. So if you want to make a sentence with knowledge or you want to make a sentence with information, always be careful. There's probably a better way to say it. Okay, thank you so much for that submission, Innocent. That was great. Oh no. Oh no, I forgot to change it. Okay. Let me change this really fast. I'm so sorry, guys. That is my fault for forgetting. Okay. Okay. All right, it should be good now. You guys should be able to click it. If you can't, just let me know. All right, guys. And Naz has one. And Naz is like, let's go to part 2, please. Yeah, no problem, Innocent. Thanks for coming. Ooh, Naz, that's a really good one. I'm going to copy what you said. That's fantastic. Yeah, and let's go to part 2 to do what Naz suggested. So, sorry guys, 1 second, got lost there. So I'm going to put Naz's answer up because that also works. Yeah, that's another great one. Okay. Now we're going to move to part 2. are a reflection of our history. Yeah. Right down here, what Naz says is fantastic. All right, guys. Again, if you guys want us to answer any, feel free to leave your own answers in the comments. Me and Phil will be happy to go through and fix any more if you guys were too shy to put them in the live stream. But yeah, let's go to part 2. We haven't done part 2 in a long time. So, just like always, can you guys give me some part 2 questions? Describe a building that you like. You should say, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and okay. Can you guys give me one more? 1 or 2 more as well? Describe a cafe. Describe a place you want to live in. Okay, these are great. Yeah, let me just type these up. Describe a cafe that is near your home. Describe a house or apartment you want to live in. Okay. And can you guys help me out here? What are the questions? So it looks like Rashitha already has some. I'll just put those here. So, Naz, that last one that you said is very similar to Rashitha's. Okay. And Rashitha, you're missing one last one. There would be one more thing here that would be said at the end. So what it would look like, where it would be located, what facilities it would have, and why you would want to live there. Okay. And then describe a cafe. I think a lot of these can just be copied, except for facilities. And why you choose to go there. Here, for the third one, for a cafe, you would probably say and describe who usually goes there, what they serve. Okay. And then Naz is like, we have all of these. Okay. And explain why you like it. Okay. So, what it looks like, where it is, and so I would say the follow-up question for this one would probably be, have you actually been there? But for the part 2, describe a building that you like, say what it looks like, where it is, and why and how you know about it. Okay. Yeah. And then, yeah, that last one. Let's do that one as well. Because what Naz says is basically all of them. Okay. And then I will answer Van Tran's question, and then we'll get into these. If you guys... describe a historic building. In your hometown. So what it looks like, where it is, what it is famous for, and why it is being preserved. This last one is a little bit too high level to actually be on the test. The test is actually quite nice, but of course for this one, just like Naz said, you can replace historic building with many, many other things. Okay. Okay. And just like Naz said, all of these. Okay. So do you guys agree with Naz? Do you guys just want me to give some high-level answers, or do you guys want to pick these apart and learn the vocabulary for them? I'll leave this up to you guys. Again, you guys should let me know in chat. Do you guys just want to hear my high-level answers, or do you want to go over vocabulary that would be useful for answering these? Again, please let me know in chat while I answer Van Fran's question, and then also add Rashitha's extra stuff. Yeah, Rashitha, you're on fire. Jeez. Okay, so please let me know in chat. I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds to tell me vocab or high-level answers. If you guys only want high-level answers, I will let you know that me and Phil are planning on making more videos, so we can make videos where we just answer these. And then instead of giving you high-level answers here in the live stream, we can focus more on vocabulary, and then me and Phil will make videos of high-level answers that you guys can watch and listen to yourselves. Okay. Yeah, Rashitha, you're on fire here. Okay. And both. Okay. All right. I will give some high-level answers, and then I will also point out vocabulary afterwards. All right. So, and let me answer Van Tran's question before I do. So Van Tran says, can I say this? Okay. And let me just make an extra space here. Okay. So this castle is an iconic symbol of the country and also a reflection of the heyday of this empire in the past. Of this fallen empire? Of this previous empire? So instead of in the past, I would probably say the name of the empire. So of the Japanese Empire, or the Mongol Empire, or whatever the name of the empire is, then it would be okay. Heyday is a nice high-level word. This means like the peak, the best days of it. And this castle, you have to be talking about a specific castle. So this is a good detail if you're talking about a specific castle. An iconic symbol of this country is nice. And then a reflection of the heyday of the Mongol Empire. Yeah, that's fine. Nice. Good one, Van Tran. Okay, let's jump into these. All right, and Raghav, those are great ones. Pinnacle would be the best. Acme, not so much. Zenith, that means the peak, but it also means that it's going to end. Okay, let's go over these. I will go over as many as I can, but it is getting a bit late. So let's get started. Describe a building that you like. You should say what it looks like, where it is, how you know about it, and explain why you like it. Okay, I'm going to set a 2-minute timer and then give an answer. And then, of course, this is a live stream, and that means you guys can always go back and listen again. And then I will make notes after I talk for 2 minutes. Vocab that I used and vocab I think you should try to use. Okay? And of course, I will not have my 1-minute prep time because I am a native speaker, and I don't need that. Okay. So, you would like me to describe a building that I like. And I'm going to tell you about the house that I'm living in right now. Or the apartment building that I'm living in right now. Sorry, actually, no. I'm going to tell you about my friend's apartment complex. My friend lives in an apartment complex called Lotus Hill. It's kind of in the suburbs of Taipei. It's a separate community, and it's just a gorgeous place. It's only maybe a 5-10 minute walk from Taipei City, and you end up in the mountains. And it's kind of built up in the foothills of the mountains, and there's a beautiful lake and river that runs past this community, and the buildings are really modern. They look really, really nice. I love these buildings because they're tall and they're quiet. One of the things that I noticed when I was walking to this building is that you didn't hear any traffic. And that was incredible to me because all 6 years that I've lived here, the sound of cars coming by was constant. And it was really quiet and peaceful. Anyway, this building, it's kind of a manila color. I believe it was 20 stories. It also included an underground parking garage. My friend lived on the 14th story. And when you got up to the 14th story, there was a beautiful view of the lake and the river just outside on their balcony. I really liked how all of the apartments in this building were very spacious. They were quite large. They each had maybe 4 rooms. It also wasn't too expensive. So I know about this building because my friend invited me to go see it, to go check it out. I think she was trying to get me and my girlfriend to move to that apartment complex. Okay. Okay. Okay, yep. So I hope you guys go back and listen to that. And Rashitha, I agree. I want to live in a large, luxurious house as I do not want to experience any challenge with my living at home. Any challenge with my living at home is a little bit strange to say, but the first part is fine, and I completely agree. Okay, so let me point out some things. Bold. Why does it always go to 18 font? So sad. Okay, so it was a 20-story building, and included a underground parking garage. The view from the 14th floor was breathtaking. The river and the lake spread out before you. I think my friend was trying to get me and my girlfriend to move there. And where it is, this community was in the suburbs of Taipei. It was nestled, I didn't use this, but it's quite nice and high level, nestled in the foothills of the surrounding mountains. Okay. So not all of this was stuff that I said, but it's still nice high level sentence frames and vocab that you may want to steal? Naz, thank you. Because it was talking about me and how great I am, it's obviously a perfect sentence with no grammar mistakes. And let's see. For Raghav, I do not give band scores, but keep in mind I am a native speaker, so that would be it. Yeah. So, yeah, I cannot give band scores. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Describe a cafe that is near your home. I'll do the same thing. I'm going to answer it and then give some useful vocab afterwards. And then I might do one more. It depends on whether or not you guys are getting bored. Okay. So, again, 2-minute timer. Let's get started. And by the way, if there's ever any points that you want to ask me questions, like what did you mean by this or anything like that, that's perfectly okay. But I also understand that, I'm speaking at a native speed, full speed, very fluently, high level vocab and grammar. So if you guys can't remember what you wanted to ask, just ask in the comments. It's okay. Also keep in mind, I will be doing this every Tuesday. So if you need to dip out, that's perfectly okay. I hope to see you on Tuesday. You can see Phil on Friday and me again on Saturday. Okay, so let's do this one. 2 minutes starting now. So you've asked me to describe a cafe that's near my home. I actually don't go to cafes very often, but my girlfriend does. And I do remember I did find one cafe that was near our house that I thought she would really like, as a surprise. It's called Boca Cafe. It's really close. It's literally right around the corner. It's in the building that's adjacent to the one that I'm living in. So it's maybe a 4-minute walk. You just exit the front door of my house, turn right, go to the intersection, turn right again, and then turn right a third time, and it's just right there. This is a pretty classy cafe. It has very comfortable seating. The tables are quite nice. The reason why I love this cafe is because they actually have outdoor seating. There are very few places in Taipei that have outdoor seating because most people think that it's too hot. I don't really care about that, so I love this place for their outdoor seating. Occasionally I'll go and I'll take a seat at their picnic table benches that are outside, and then I usually get a cheese sandwich and an Irish coffee. If you don't know what that is, it's a coffee with some whiskey inside, or I get a hot chocolate that has liqueur in it. Yeah, they have alcohol in their drinks, and I like that too. Let's see. As you know, because it's a fancy cafe, the prices are quite inflated. Like the cheese sandwich is maybe 280 NT dollars. That's like double what you would pay for a normal meal, like a biendong or like a lunchbox that you might buy on the street. So I don't actually go there very often because I don't like cafes. I like my house. It's where my computer is. But when I do want to sit outside, that is where I go. I may also go if my girlfriend wants to go to a local cafe, but okay. So, sorry for the beeping. Okay. So, let's see. Naz, thanks for that. I hope my voice doesn't put you to sleep. By the way, Naz, good job asking about vocab for the previous one. So up here, the river and lake spread out before you. This is talking about, it's kind of like, if something spreads out before you, that means that it's quite expansive. Like you open the door and you look outside and the river goes on for a long time. Or you can see the ocean all the way to your left and all the way to your right. That's what spread out before you means. Yes. Okay. And Raghav says, when will I take the mock exam? If you guys want me to take Phil's mock exam, just let us know in comments. Say, Michael, take Phil's mock exam, and I will go and take a mock exam with Phil. Hopefully he'll give me a good score. I do not do the mock exam. Again, I don't give scores out. That is what Phil is for. Yes. And a homely cafe. Let me double check the meaning of homely, because it may mean ugly. Okay. Okay. So homely in American English means unattractive. She's a very homely woman. How dare you? It means plain looking, not attractive, unattractive. In British English, you can say a homely atmosphere, and that means cozy and comfortable. So be careful how you use it. Don't call girls homely, or you might get slapped. But if you're describing the atmosphere, that's a good collocation. Okay. It's a stone throw from my house. Raghav, that's almost correct. Let me write that down for you so that you can see it. You should actually say, bold 18, so annoying. Okay, it's a stone's throw from my house. You don't say the word distance, because stone's throw is talking about the distance. This is something that's annoying for people learning English. In a lot of other languages, you would say the category word, like distance, in the sentence. So it's a stone's throw distance from my house. In your native language, that makes sense. In English, stone's throw means the distance, so you don't say the word distance. Okay. Yeah. And let me just put up some vocab from the cafe. So it has very comfortable seating. It actually has outdoor seating, which is super rare here in Taipei because everyone thinks it's too hot. When I go there, I often order a hot chocolate spiked with liqueur, spiked with Baileys. Baileys is a kind of liquor, a kind of alcoholic drink. So spiked with Baileys. Spiked doesn't need to be there. And just watch the clouds. Really, this one, if you guys go back and you listen to my answer again, this is what you guys should be working on, because this is what most people have trouble with, is giving directions and saying where things are in the city. So, for example, you could say, it's right near by my house. Nope, sorry. It's right around the corner from my house. Literally a 4-minute walk. Okay. You just exit through my front door, hang a right, turn right again at the intersection, and finally a third time down an alley, and it will be right in front of you. So this is for directions. But we also have spatial vocabulary, so vocabulary for describing where things are. And for this one, I used a different word. So these are the vocab you use for spatial vocabulary and directions are different. So for spatial vocabulary, I would say it's actually attached. It's actually on the first floor around the back of the building that is directly adjacent to the one my house is in. Whoa, all the clauses so complicated. Sorry, adjacent. Okay. So it means the cafe is actually on the first floor around the back of the building that is directly adjacent to the one my house is in. So basically this means is that there's a building next to my house and it's on the first floor of the back of that building. Okay. So literally, by the way, Van Tran means, literally means, did I use it literally here? Yes, I did. Okay, literally means actually. It's the difference between, let me go down here. We have literally and figuratively. So he is literally a murderer. He murdered someone. Versus he is figuratively a murderer. His poetry was so terrible, it killed me. So what this means is that he didn't actually kill anyone. His poetry is murder. That's figurative. His poetry didn't actually kill anyone. It's figurative. Literal means that it's real. It's 100% real. So if I say his essay killed me, that means that I died. I literally died after I read his essay. Or maybe his essay, flew into me and I died. So literally and figuratively. The tricky thing is that native speakers often use literally wrong. Like we say literally when we mean figuratively, so it can get really confusing. Okay. And Rashitha has an answer. And you can see other people watching the past of the live stream giving great answers, but they're too late. I need to make sure in the middle of my videos I say press live. So I'll do that right now, just in case they reach here. Make sure you're not watching in the past. Make sure that you always press live so that you are with the rest of us. I'm sorry, it's adorable. I love to see people throwing out answers from past questions. Okay, so let me look at, Naz, spatial vocabulary. No matter what language you're learning, everybody hates spatial vocabulary. And let me put up Rashitha's right here. The atmosphere of the place was extremely tranquil and serene, perfect, which greatly lives up to my expectations. Ooh, interesting. Good relative clause, which greatly lives up to my expectations. Does this make sense to say? You wouldn't use it as present simple because your expectations, think of expectations, is equal to what you thought before you knew it. This is similar to first impressions. Okay, so you can have expectations like later, like if I had a kid, I could say, oh, I expect you to do great things. There are many great expectations on you, my son or my daughter or my brother. But normally when in this situation, when you're saying expectations, this is like before you go to a movie, you're very excited because you think it's going to be great. Your friends told you this will be a great movie. You have high expectations. And then you can have them met or you cannot have them met. So high expectations, and then it didn't meet my expectations because my expectations were too high. So this could be like a movie your friends said was great, but you didn't enjoy because you thought it should be better. Okay. So which greatly lived up to my expectations. This is just a little bit strange to say. Vocab is very high level. You had a vocab problem because of the fact that it's a weird situation to use this clause. But like your grammar's great. It is high level. It's just a little strange. You would use this if in your previous sentence you talked about setting up your expectations. So if in a previous sentence you talked about how you had high expectations for the place, and then you went there and they were true, then you can say this clause. But you can't say this clause without first talking about your expectations before you went there. Okay. All right. And can we say to my liking? Yes. You can't say it is, it is exactly to my liking. It is exactly to my liking. That sounds weird, but I know that it's okay to say. Give me a sentence and I'll let you know if it works. This is quite to my liking. This is quite to my liking. Okay. All right, guys. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for sticking around so long. It was so good to see everyone. Some of you guys I haven't seen in a while. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. Don't forget to hit the like button if you thought that this was useful. Share it with your friends. We are trying to grow our channel. And yeah, thanks for coming. You guys were awesome, active, and it was so happy to see some old faces. Good to see you, Naz. Good to see you, Ventran. Bye, Rashitha. Thanks for coming. I hope to see you guys on Saturday, and if not on Saturday, then next Tuesday. Look out for our videos. We may be making some more of those in the near future. And yeah. Oh, one last thing. I think I will be hanging out on Discord in, let's say, 14 hours. Yeah, 14 hours from now, I'll probably spend maybe an hour on Discord just hanging out. So if you guys want to hang out with me, feel free to jump on Discord tomorrow in 15 hours. All right. You guys were great. If anyone will want to stop by and say hi, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in 14 hours. In 15 hours, sorry. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your evenings and the rest of your days. Thanks for stopping by. I hope this was useful. Please leave some comments if you have questions, concerns, or if you thought it was great. Bye, everybody. You guys were awesome.